This is a new reading type called the chemistry reading, which can be used in a situation where you've just met someone, a romantic interest, and you're wondering what the chances are or what sort of the pathway forward is. So if you'd like to gain insight on something deeper, then I recommend the relationship reading, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a family relationship, whatever it may be. The relationship reading is designed to give you deeper insight on that. And this one, the chemistry reading, is more focused on kind of first impressions and seeing where things could evolve. So if you're interested in booking this reading, you can find it on my website in the golden tier. So I'm going to show you how this reading works so you can do it for yourself. You can try it if you want. This is not a personal reading, so this is not necessarily personally for you. Although if you feel like you can take something away from it, then I'm even happier. But this is just to demonstrate what this reading is about. So, first, we are going to see physical chemistry. So that's going to be our first card. We're going to draw 6 cards. That's the base reading, and obviously when it's a personal reading, these cards can be complemented with other cards when necessary to gain more information. So first is physical chemistry. So I'm going to place this over here. And next is light chemistry. So this is a sort of light-hearted, easygoing, more superficial layer of a connection. The flirty, the jokey, the light conversation aspect of it. So this is more superficial, but we're interested to see what things are showing on this level as well. Okay. Next is intellectual chemistry. So here we're looking to get some information on how the two of you connect in an intellectual sense. How your way of thinking, your speed of thinking, your fashion or style of thinking, how does that connect? Is it a good combination? All right. Next is deeper emotional chemistry. So that's obviously the emotional layer of these two individuals and how they are connecting. Next is the outlook on the relationship. So what are sort of the predictors that are shown by the tarot? And next is some guidance. So what is the advice? All right. So again, I would like to emphasize that in any tarot reading, what you're receiving is intuitive messages from the cards. And what is most important in this whole process is to try and help you find your own intuitive understanding. So, what you intuitively feel should trump anything else. Anything else. And I mean really anything else. If you build a good relationship with your intuition, you can sort of have a gut feeling about another person, and that gut feeling is above everything else in relationships. So the tarot is giving you some prompts, some clues, but the most important thing is that you have that relationship with yourself where you can listen to your gut. Now, before we jump into the reading, let me ask you to check if you're subscribed. If you enjoy this type of content, then I encourage you to do subscribe, because that way you will be notified about new videos. And I would also like to encourage you to leave comments, to like the videos, and to check out my website for different reading types that I offer. Okay. So, the first one, the physical chemistry. We have 10 of Swords here. That's not the best start. And then we have the light chemistry here, Wheel of Fortune. And then there's intellectual chemistry, Six of Pentacles. Deep emotional chemistry, Four of Pentacles. The outlook on the relationship, Four of Cups. And the advice is the 10 of Wands. Okay, so this is obviously not a reading about a real budding relationship. This is just sort of like a simulation of how this reading could look. And I'm wondering what you're noticing. So if you're a student of the tarot, or if you're interested in the tarot in general, you might notice some things here, some patterns. Well, one of the first things that I always like to look at is the elemental distribution. We have Pentacles, which is connected with the earth element here, the Six of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. And we have Cups and Wands and Swords. The other three elements, air, fire, and water. And we have one major arcana card, the Wheel of Fortune. But interestingly, in this particular example reading, what we're seeing is that the most superficial point of this reading, the light connection or the light chemistry, is where the Wheel of Fortune shows up. So this, the major arcana cards are signaling important, profound patterns and dynamics. So it's already very telling that we have the Wheel of Fortune in this somewhat superfluous or superficial position, which is giving us an idea as to why there could be attraction of any kind. Because the other cards, they are really not telling us the story of a good situation in terms of chemistry. Let's start with the physical chemistry right off the bat. The 10 of Swords, which is the highest number 10 in the minor arcana. So this sort of represents the exaggerated most aggressive representation of the air element. And the Ten of Swords is pointing to the impossibility or the threat or the lack of relaxation around this subject. And my first impression with the Ten of Swords in this position is that although there might be some physical attraction, some sense of incompatibility is being revealed in this process. And since physical chemistry is pretty much the underlying engine of relationships that are in their early phases, very often, I'm not saying that that's the only contributing factor, but often when you don't know much about another person, this is the first thing that kind of clues you in that there's a person that I want something to do with. And here the Ten of Swords, which is the card of being defeated, paralyzed, not really having any perspective or any hope, a very pessimistic card, is telling me that there's something just very off here. Some sense of incompatibility is coming into play. And then the Wheel of Fortune that I made a mention of in the beginning is revealing a really good level of chemistry, but on a superficial level. So my first instinct with this card and with this reading is that these two people are potentially good on a more general level. They are good together. They probably share the same sense of humor. They have a lot of interesting things to talk about. They are there's just a good superficial connection. So that could be the start of a good friendship. But to see the romantic side of it, it's very difficult at this point anyway. The Wheel of Fortune, which is a major arcana card, and it's the card of life designing circumstances and spinning the wheel for you in a way that interacts with your destiny and surprises you and brings you new impulses, new influences, new things into your life. So the Wheel of Fortune is sure to confuse in this position. I think this would indicate that there's such a good common ground between these two people on a superficial level that they might have started wondering if there could be more there. But this could be a signal for something else, not romantic attraction, romantic chemistry, but something different. Let's see the intellectual chemistry. Here we have the Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles is the card of balance. Live and let live. Give and receive. It's a good system in terms of it being fair and supportive. So it is easier, it is fairly easy to work together on solving problems with this person. The intellectual connection, the intellectual chemistry seems to be circling around mutual respect and a sense of harmony, establishing harmony, maintaining harmony and balance and equality. So it's very respectful. I'm getting the sense that the shared intellectual ground is somewhat professional, I would say. So my guess would be, in terms of this relationship, my guess would be that there's a collegial bond between these two people, and not necessarily anything romantic. So again, the Six of Pentacles is focused on neutralizing differences, maintaining a cordial and jovial relationship, making sure that no one is left out, and creating compromises where necessary. So it's a good intellectual fit. But once we start to look at the deeper emotional chemistry, we're seeing a brick wall of kinds, the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles in this position is telling me of blockage, and I'm pretty much getting the same vibe from this card as from the Ten of Swords, in the sense that these two crucial points, the physical and the emotional chemistry, we're seeing cards that are speaking about being blocked, being trapped, and being reserved, especially with the Four of Pentacles. This is a card of restrictions and keeping things to yourself. So neither of these individuals are really letting themselves go loose. They are not letting themselves surrender to this relationship. There's some muscle work here, keeping things neatly packed away. So on the emotional chemistry front, we can also see that there's some hindrances, there's some blockage. Okay, so what is the outlook of this relationship? And here we have the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups, the Four of Water, is very similar to the Four of Pentacles in the sense that there's limitations, there's restrictions here. The Four of Cups, when it comes to relationships, emotional relationships, is the refusal to engage. It's passivity, it's lack of interest and lack of initiative. So the outlook on this relationship is not bad in terms of if this is a professional relationship, then I would say that this is actually a pretty good setup. But if you were asking about a romantic partner, a potential romantic interest, then I would have to say that the cards are signaling a lack of interest in that direction, a lack of genuine, emotionally driven interest in that direction. So the Four of Cups, which is a balanced energy, so the number 4 is balanced and whole, structured. It's not unstable, it's not whimsical, and it's not unpredictable, but it's also the card of disillusionment, the card of rejecting a fantasy. And the outlook on this relationship involves a certain sense of indifference and a lack of involvement. So what is the advice? Let's have a look at that. The Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is, again, similar to the Ten of Swords because of the number and because of the fact that the fire energy exaggerated to this point of maximal intensity, it can become kind of burdensome, just like the Ten of Swords representing something that is barely bearable, something that truly exceeds your capacity. And the Ten of Wands is pointing to this relationship becoming too much energetically after a certain point. And the philosophy of the Ten of Wands is that in order to liberate yourself energetically, you have to consider dropping a wand or two. So you can try and maintain the idea that this relationship is going to go in that direction. You can certainly do that. But if that's your plan, then you're definitely going to have to drop a few other things, because with the Ten of Wands, so you can see there's a sense of being overwhelmed, overburdened, and not really finding a position of not really finding a grip on the situation. So with that said, I would say that this relationship has its positives. It seems to me more along the lines of friendship or a professional relationship. So there's definitely I'm not seeing any animosity really that could make things go awry. But I'm also not seeing that spark, that fire manifest in these cards. So the guidance is to try and liberate yourself. That's your first and most important task regarding this. To try and find an angle here that makes things easier for the both of you. It is possible that the time is not right, that there's something in the environment, the conditions, the circumstances of your situation that is making things difficult. Although, the physical chemistry with the Ten of Swords is, I think that's pretty much an indication that there's some more primal or visceral reason behind the lack of potential in a romantic direction that we're seeing here. But perhaps if you are both okay with it, it's worth exploring the friendship or professional work relationship aspect of this. So this is the reading type. I wonder if you guys like it, if you found it interesting. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment. I always like reading your comments, and I try to reply as much as I can. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.